I've been expecting you, Mr. Bond. Alrighty, let's stop being silly. Hi, Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany, and I am going to be talking about quite an interesting topic that tarot readers across the land will have to sit with and discuss, and we've had a discussion about, and I'm pretty excited to jump into it. This is a long one. It's going to be a little bit philosophical, but we're basically going to be discussing just how much power these cards have, tarot cards have. Today we are discussing tarot versus destiny, fate, choice, and I'm even going to talk a little bit about self-fulfilling prophecies. Yep. I believe that these are beautiful names: choice, fate, and destiny, and self-fulfilling prophecy. Can be the new members of the Tarot's Destiny's Child. Couldn't help it. Destiny, child of like that era. Look, all of these topics are going to go across cultures, across religions, have been spoken about in mythologies. I am not going to be delving into any religious beliefs in a big way, just FYI. But I do honor and understand that people's belief systems will play a part in how they come to these concepts. I also asked the question about destiny in the tarot to members of the Tarot Readers Academy Facebook group, and I have some really great comments on the topic from our community, so I'm going to talk about. So, as with everything I share, please take what resonates with you and leave the rest. And I really do hope this topic gets us talking about the tarot and a tarot reader's role in people's lives and empowering them versus, the tarot made me do it. But yes, we'll get to that. I hope this may get you to see or may allow you to see things in a different perspective. So the big first thing that we were talking about was, do you believe in destiny? Sha-na-na-na, say my name. Do you believe in destiny, or do you believe in choice-centered life? Like, do you think that when you come down, every part of your life is destined, or do you think we are random acts of randomness in the universe? Some people will believe that we are a random act of evolution, and some people believe that there is a divine plan. And a lot of people, I've come to realize, believe that there's something in the middle. It's actually a lovely thought, and a lovely thought that I'll get to what I believe, but I think it's a lovely thought that the divine, however you choose to see or not see the divine, as learning as it creates and expands. And one of the things that makes this topic interesting in the concept of tarot is tarot has no religion. It is not a religious thing. It's a tool. It is a pack of cards, but it has no religion. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. We can see the tarot through many filters, and we come through it from our experience, and we can incorporate it into our practice if we choose to. Now, I believe you don't have to belong to one camp or the other. You don't have to go to a tarot course and right. So in order for you to continue, you're going to have to choose to go into the fate and destiny classroom or the choice center classroom. Pick a side. That's not what happens. But I do believe that it will affect in a way how you conduct your tarot readings, because you may see the tarot as showing you the road that has been prepared for you or for your querent, or the tarot is showing you options that are open to you to choose from. And that is there's some different experiences. There's different knock-on effects with that. There's a different language, a different conversation, a different part of empowerment that comes from those two roads. So whether you believe in one or the other or the center, it's certainly a nice thing to sit and think about as a reader. If you're learning the tarot, if you want to be reading for other people professionally, is how do you personally feel about it? And then how are you going to use the tarot as a tool, as an extension of that? And then what are you going to do when you read for people who are, may have the complete opposite belief? So, yeah, it's not just throwing down cards as a tarot reader. I mean, I guess it could be for many people, but yeah. So one thing that I found really interesting when we look at this destiny and fate and choice is the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. Now, they are really interesting and something that tarot readers deal with really every time we're reading the cards for our clients. I'm sure that there are experienced tarot readers out there who have had clients who totally see what they want in the cards, totally hear what they want to hear, and make choices in their lives to fit a certain outcome. Now, you can call that being very willed or very focused. You can call it self-fulfilling prophecy, but it certainly does marry up when we're looking at how someone can view the tarot. I've had people come to me and say things like, a tarot reader once told me I was going to be married to a llama farmer by 26 and have 3 children and, rattle on like he's going to be this and do that and I'm going to do this. And I've been told things like you're going to be a soccer mom and I've been told shit. And then I usually sit back and I ask them something along the lines of like, well, is that what you want? You can probably see I'm probably aligning more to the choice pathway here. But really, if someone presents you with any information, you do have the right to accept it or to say that, this doesn't resonate with me. So what exactly is a self-fulfilling prophecy? So I'm actually going to hand this over to sources that are psychologists and can explain this in a much better way than I can. So a self-fulfilling prophecy is a prediction that directly or indirectly causes itself to become true by the very terms of the prophecy itself. There's quite a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy in Harry Potter. That whole thing, Neville and Harry, spoiler alert, totally self-fulfilling prophecy due to positive feedback between the belief and the behavior. So if you want to take that from a pop culture point of view, again, spoiler alert if you have not read or seen the Harry Potter movies. First of all, where have you been? Where have you been? It may not be your jam, but to put this in context of a self-fulfilling prophecy, Voldy, here's the prophecy about the person, the child that is going to be born on a certain day, under certain circumstances, that is going to be his undoing. And in the way that he goes about this, the way that he chooses to go after Harry's parents, he fulfills that prophecy himself. Because if he had chosen to just be like, I'm going to back up on this and maybe not go on a murdering death spree, but I guess that defeats his purpose. But still, and then again, destiny. If he decided not to, then who knows, right? If Harry had grown up with his parents alive and well, who knows? So that is a very pop culture experience of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the self-fulfilling prophecy in the beginning is a false definition of a situation evoking a new behavior which makes the original false concept come true. I've put a whole bunch of stuff over at ethany.com with the cited reference, but in other words, a positive or negative prophecy, either or, strongly held belief or in delusion, declared as truth, when it is actually false, or a choice, I may want to add there, may sufficiently influence people so that their reactions ultimately fulfill the once false prophecy. So this is very along the lines, I guess, of people who believe in choice. So if you're told that something's going to happen, you're taking the choice that you have outside of that, or you're choosing to enforce it. So I've got a cycle image as well for you to take a look at. So it's a very interesting point of view, and Voldemort and the Boy Who Lived is a very good example of that that many of us would understand and have read. So I remember very kind of early on in my professional tarot career, I've been reading the tarot since I was 15, but I didn't start reading for other people until I was a bit older. And I had a boyfriend for a brief time many moons ago when I was much, much younger, who met me while I was working at a metaphysical store. And he, right out the gate, totally told me that he was against the tarot because of his beliefs about self-fulfilling prophecies. So his sister got a tarot reading. She saw what she wanted to see about moving to another state, and she took the actions to make that reading come to pass. Now, it's a very interesting thing when this happens, and while this can be seen as a self-fulfilling prophecy, I believe she clearly liked what she saw. She had already had that thought and that inclination, and many people have given feedback around I felt that you just validated something for me. But she must have liked that if she saw where she was going and wanted to follow that through. But we can totally go the other way when we see something, or we're told that something is doomed in the cards. We can also take steps towards that too, giving up in a way and giving over our power. So the tarot can be a tool to help people self-fulfill their own prophecies, but it can just be about, anything can be used in that circumstance as well. Palm readings, scrying, throwing the bones, prayer, meditation, anything. This is a reason I believe that we have choices. Big or small, there's still choices, whether it's we choose to look to the tarot for guidance, and then do we choose to take that guidance on, or do we choose to go the other way? My personal experience around tarot readings and self-fulfilling prophecy particularly, because I've read for people who have a real desire for a certain outcome, and I'm sure a lot of you have had that too, is that to remind people in their readings that the tarot does not predict a fixed or fated future, and that they have a choice. But again, this is what I believe. I also believe in a magical world with a higher intelligence, but I also believe in having human choices inside that. So for tarot readers who've just started out, I would recommend sitting with these concepts and ensuring that you have a clear idea of it, and you're clear to your clients about what you believe the tarot can and cannot predict and show for their lives. It'll make your life much easier if you can manage your clients' expectations, and also the expectations they may have on you with the reading, if you do it right out the bat, right out the gate, and lay it all out there. And that's why it's good to have things like having that information on your webpage, and I talk about that in a different video series. So I wanted to share now some comments from the community. So I asked the members of our tarot community over at the Tarot Readers Academy Facebook group what they thought, and here are some of the comments. I asked them, do you believe in a fixed or fated future? Do you believe in fate and destiny? Or do you believe in choice? We got a lot of comments that supported both ideas, but we had a lot of comments about a co-created universe. A lot of people who like me see both sides. So here are some that I wanted to share to give some different perspectives on the subject. So Monique says, fate is what we are born with and cannot change. Destiny is what we do with it. Barbara says, I believe we're on a path with many crossroads, dead ends, rest stops, and destinations. The choices we make and the people we meet along the way nudge us in one direction or another. I also believe that when you ask the goddess or spirit or the universe for guidance or to help manifest, then we receive what we ask for. The key is to ask and to believe and to look and be aware of the signs and the gifts along the way, as well as the ditches and pits that we can fall into. Anne Marie, I think we have a predestined life we set up before we come down to earth, but we always have free will. So if we get off track, we are directed back, but we always have a choice in everything though. Erin, I believe that no matter what our choices are, fate and destiny will change our course if that is for our highest good. Thinking of it like fate and destiny are the roads and we are the car. We can choose to take a different route to see and experience different things, but we will end up in the same place. Angela says, I believe we control our lives overall. There is no fate or destiny. There are things that might be better for us or more fulfilling, but we can choose to ignore those things if we want for some reason. There are also going to be things out of our control sometimes, but overall we control our lives, in my opinion. Haley says, I believe we create our own futures. I believe that the energy we put out to the universe gets returned to us. I don't believe in destiny or an eye for an eye, or that people will get punished when they do bad things. I believe we can draw anything we want to us. We are not pawns in a game of chess. We are co-creators, and anything we want to do or achieve, we can. Any lessons that we learn are for growth purposes, not punishment. And we've either directly or indirectly created them for ourselves, whether we realize it or not. Whew, some deepness. Marie Helene, choices. I don't believe the universe would doom anyone with a miserable or evil fate, yet there are miserable and evil people in this world who are a product of circumstances and choices they've made. And Gary, I believe we manifest our own destiny by how we respond, react, and the meanings we give to the things that happen to us in our lives. Tarot provides guidance and insight for those situations and may provide direction, but the final decision or act or not to act is always our own. So if you wanted to see the full conversation, there was over 100 comments from different members of our community. Go check out our Facebook group. I'll pop it in the link below, in the description below, and I'll pop it over at ethany.com in the transcription. So I've kind of talked a little bit about what I believe, but to solidify that, I prefer to have ideas and beliefs, thanks to Dogma. Honestly, one of the best movies about faith ever. And if you have not seen that movie, do yourself a favor and watch it. Not only do you get some incredible script writing, you also get to see Salma Hayek, damn girl, as a muse. And God, of course, is a woman. And the late, great Alan Rickman as Metatron. It is an amazing film. So I love the way that they talk about ideas versus beliefs. So I like having ideas rather than beliefs that hold me back or deny my growth. So my idea around this is that we have choice in our lives, but there are things that are out of control. Call it destiny if you want to, especially that we cannot control other people and what they are going to do with their lives. So things have a knock-on effect, cause and effect, the law of unintended consequences, all of those things that come into play. Without the responsibility of choice in our lives, we can blame everyone else for what is happening in our lives and what we do. We can blame evil for making us do horrible things, and you see people do that shit every day. We can hold up a higher power to punish. We can praise an unseen God, good for us living a life where we are kind to people. And what I think that does is rob humanity to be humane. I also understand this point of view is colored by my path as a witch because we believe in being responsible for our lives. But I also think there are choices within destiny. Like, I really feel that there are pivotal moments in my life that I can reflect on, feeling that this was meant to be, like my son. I was told at 15 I was going to have a very, very hard time having a child, or I may not at all be able to. And 15 years later, I was pregnant with my son. So for me, that is some divine stuff right there. But these are choices. I had to make choices along the way to also allow that alignment to happen. Some may have been divinely guided, some may have been me fulfilling some kind of soul contract or agreement, or some self-fulfilling prophecy that I made with some souls before I came down and incarnated in this body. And that's, soul contracts are quite a popular belief in spiritual communities. But all of my personal experiences aside, and that is just one, not to mention like my near-death experiences, etc., I believe that the tarot can really empower our lives. It can be a mirror. It can show us what's really going on, what our motivations are, and allow us to see different pathways forward. When I'm reading for a client, I often see more than one way forward. And most of my tarot spreads that I create for my clients reflect what I naturally see. I see what is likely to pass if my client does nothing and continues down the path that they are on. And I can also see what is likely to happen if they choose or they want to go a different way. The tarot can show us possibilities and the person we want to be. It can show us the lessons we are learning and help us move towards a path that's for our highest good. It sounds like I'm like trying to like promote the tarot. This is what I totally believe what the tarot can do though, destined, guided or not. And it can help us, allow us to enjoy as much of our life as we can. It can help us get out of our own way. At the end of the day, we have to be the ones who choose to walk the path in front of us. We have all seen that people can opt out of things in life. You know, people quit stuff all the time. And again, that is choice, whether you believe that was your personal motivation and power behind it or whether that was a divine power behind it. So this conversation is one I wanted to share with this amazing community for a while. I would love to hear what you have to think, what you think about and what you have to say about tarot and destiny and fate and choice and self-fulfilling prophecies and how tarot plays the part in the grand scheme of things. I'd love for you to let me know in the comments below or join the conversation over on our Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching and allowing me to talk a little bit about some of these higher, loftier philosophical conversations. And I hope you have an amazing week, day, month, midnight, whenever you're watching this, 3 a.m. in the morning. Yes, thank you so much for watching.